How would a first sergeant react if they caught an officer breaking their own rules? I found out during my deployment to Iraq when Lieutenant Parker met his match in First Sergeant Rodriguez. Parker was notorious for his safety briefings. Every single mission, he'd gather us for these marathon speeches about equipment protocols. Helmets on at all times outside the wire, body armor properly fastened, no exceptions, ever. He'd written up soldiers for walking 10 feet to the latrine without full gear, made guys do push-ups for unbuckling their chin straps during chow. The man was obsessed with regulations. His favorite line was always the same. I don't care if you're thirsty, tired, or need to take a leak. You follow safety protocols or you don't go on my missions. Period. We were 3 months into deployment when it happened. I was pulling guard duty at the main gate around midnight. Quiet night. Nothing moving except the occasional stray dog. That's when I saw someone walking across the compound in just a t-shirt and shorts. No helmet, no body armor, completely against every rule Parker had drilled into us. As the figure got closer, I realized who it was. Lieutenant Parker himself, sneaking back from the civilian contractor area where the female logistics personnel stayed. Guy was practically tiptoeing, trying not to make noise. Clearly thought everyone was asleep. He had no idea First Sergeant Rodriguez was doing his nightly security walk. Rodriguez appeared from behind the supply tent like a ghost, stopped directly in Parker's path. Even from 50 yards away, I could see Parker freeze like a deer in headlights. The conversation lasted about 2 minutes. I couldn't hear the words, but Rodriguez's body language said everything. Arms crossed, not moving an inch. Parker kept gesturing, probably making excuses. Next morning at formation, Rodriguez made an announcement. Effective immediately, all safety briefings will be conducted by squad leaders. Lieutenant Parker will be observing only. Parker's face went red, but he couldn't say anything. Hard to argue for strict safety enforcement when you got caught violating every rule yourself. But Rodriguez wasn't finished. He'd apparently spent the night documenting Parker's entire route, checked security cameras, talked to other guards. Turns out this wasn't Parker's first midnight stroll. He'd been making regular trips for weeks, always in minimal clothing, always violating his own protocols. The next day, Rodriguez submitted a formal report to the company commander, listed every safety violation complete with timestamps and witness statements. Parker tried to fight it, claimed he was conducting unofficial security checks. Nobody bought it. Security checks don't require sneaking around in your underwear. Within a week, Parker was reassigned to desk duty at the main base. No more field operations, no more safety briefings, no more contact with line troops. Rodriguez took over most of his responsibilities. First thing he did was revise all the safety protocols, made them realistic instead of impossible. We still wore full gear outside the wire, but Rodriguez understood when flexibility was needed. Hot day? He'd let us unzip our jackets during breaks. Long mission? We could adjust our equipment for comfort. The difference was night and day. Rodriguez had actual combat experience, knew which rules kept you alive and which ones were just paperwork. Parker spent his remaining deployment processing supply requests in an air-conditioned office. Never led another mission, never gave another briefing. Word spread fast through the entire battalion. Other officers started being more careful about the rules they enforced. Hard to demand perfection when everyone knows you might get caught being human. 6 months later, Rodriguez got promoted to Master Sergeant. Parker finished his deployment and left the army immediately. Apparently, military leadership wasn't for him. Rodriguez still sends Christmas cards to guys from our unit. Always signs them the same way. Stay safe, follow the real rules, and remember that leadership means doing what you expect others to do. Last I heard, Parker was working insurance sales in Phoenix. Rodriguez became a drill instructor at Fort Moore, teaching new officers about authentic leadership. During his first class, he always tells the story about Lieutenant Parker, not to embarrass anyone, but to make a point about credibility. The lesson's simple. Soldiers will follow leaders they respect, but they'll destroy leaders who are hypocrites. Rodriguez learned that lesson watching Parker's career implode over a midnight walk in his underwear.